Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 183. Any articles or videos can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for weekly recap newsletter 231. So just a quick summary of things that's happened this past week in Star Atlas. Pretty much as regularly occurs, the Star Atlas Brew, Atlas Brew occurred from the Star Atlas, what's left of the community team. I would just call it Star Atlas update going forward. So go over what they talked there, and that was pretty much it. Kind of like I said, typical now for Star Atlas. Before I get to that, again, just mention some of the things I'm working on Star Atlas. Again, you can check out my website, intergalacticherald.com. Great Star Atlas resource website with guides, directories, recaps, Discord newsfeed, though I will be the first to admit everything's kind of talking about Star Atlas in the past, and the team's been pretty quiet for many months now, so I just haven't published anything on the new stuff because it's being developed. So you can also check out my Star Atlas merch store at intergalacticgear.com, and also love to get together with other Star Atlas gamers. So if you check out intergalacticcoalition.com, you can fill out an interest survey there if you're interested in getting together a group of Star Atlas gamers who aren't joining guilds. So as I mentioned, this past week was the Atlas Brew. So again, Jose and John from the Star Atlas team did their typical kind of updates of things that were going on, but they did have some other community updates in there. I'll kind of go over those kind of out of order just to leave the game play information there. There was a DAO Council update, so what was going on with the DAO Council elections. Also, there was a community game, Cataclysm, that got kind of a demo, so you could check that out. Oh, and I should thank Calico Institute for their recording. Unfortunately, I got distracted by my business and totally forgot to hit record. So I'm going to try to get, back on that. So at least we have a couple recordings in case sickness or vacations or distraction because you're trying to run your business. But anyways, so there's a link in my newsletter so you can get that. And again, if you're listening to this podcast, you've already received the AI summary that I put out the next day. So anyway, so those were kind of the two non-game related things that came out. So on the game progress from Jose and John, basically the team has been bug fixing quite a bit on the C4 PTR, and they said they've pretty much squashed all those bugs. And again, it wasn't all bugs, but the ones they wanted to kind of focus on at this point with some of the UI changes coming in the next phase. One thing they did mention is they've developed some testing regimens for testing user journeys through C4, so those can all be automated, so that sounds pretty cool. And they said that the new Phase 3 is coming soon, so again, I think they were talking again that they want to get a lot of these bugs out and then move to that. They also noted that the single-player campaign is progressing well with cutscenes and videos and things like that. So, and then they ended the Atlas Brew talking about something called a cookbook, which much more developer focused, but was definitely opening it up if the community wants to develop, how they say it, Solana programs, but on the Zinc chain, which has less cost. So again, kind of different ideas. You can develop other blockchain systems, I guess probably is the best way to say that, not necessarily games. So anyway, that was pretty much the Atlas Brew. Again, Calico Institute's YouTube channel has a full recording, and again, if you subscribe to my podcast, you can get the typical Thursday morning AI summary audios that you can check on in that. So anyways, and then just moving on to kind of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas this week. Yeah, it's just a normal week, ongoing C4 development updates, which is nice. And not to be too critical, kind of just feels like rinse and repeat. Again, we're sure the team is working hard, but yeah, it's just different than it's been in years past. Pretty much focused on one aspect of Star Atlas game development, which is good. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, just not a lot to report. Community's pretty slow, I guess is the best way to say it. Discord is slow. But again, things are being developed, and that, I guess, should be promising because ultimately, if you've listened to my podcast for a while, again, I was definitely more into the gaming aspects and the blockchain and things like that. Though, again, totally glad it is on the blockchain for all the benefits that brings with asset ownership. But yeah, development, much, much smaller team than it's ever been in the past, but it sounds like they're making progress, benefited by AI development. But yeah, not a lot of things to comment on. So as far as my playing the current version of Star Atlas, the Sage Starbase, yeah, just continue to mine my copper ore with the goal of hopefully to put enough materials together to craft a Mamba X. And that's been a goal I've been working on for a very long time. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, short episode only because, again, this is sort of a summary podcast, so not, just what it is. So again, do check out my website, intergalacticherald.com, Star Atlas resources, intergalacticgear.com, my Star Atlas merch store, and definitely like to get together with other Star Atlas gamers who aren't joining guilds. So please check out the intergalacticcoalition.com for an interest survey. That was pretty much it for this past week in Star Atlas. I'm Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.